Time now for our Live on Live feature, when we welcome a special guest into the studio. And today's subject is Kosovo, which is today marking the 8th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence from Serbia. Celebrations today were marred, however, when opposition MPs organised a demonstration in the capital, Pristina. It follows months of protests by the opposition, who resorted at times to releasing tear gas inside Parliament. To help us understand what's causing such deep divisions in Kosovo, I'm joined by today's guest, Martine Royo, a Balkan specialist at Amnesty International. You're very welcome to the program, Martine.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, let's look at the root of the problem here. Can you tell us about whether or not this is a purely ethnic conflict between Albanians and Serbs, or whether other factors come into the equation?
No, I don't think this is a purely ethnic conflict between Albanians and Serbs, because at the time of Tito, when Kosovo was part of Serbia and Serbia part of Yugoslavia, Albanians and Serbs got on very well together. But there was no huge discrimination between Albanians and Serbs at the time of Tito. Albanians could go to the university and they had Serbian friends and things were going. Even Roma people were much better treated than they are today.
So where did the problem stem from?
Oh, well, the problem arose from the war, from the 1998-99 conflict, and from the fact that the Serbian army went to Kosovo to kill Albanians because they protested the new status Milosevic gave them. All the problems rose with the era of Milosevic, actually, who tried to restrict autonomy of Kosovo more and more. And finally, the population, there was unrest in Kosovo. The Albanians did not accept it, and little by little, this led to the war.
Now, today, the 17th of February, marks the 8th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence of the Kosovan province from Serbia, but it's not the first time that they sought independence, is it?
I don't quite get your point.
So they tried to seek independence before 8 years ago, but failed.
Yes, but they got, as I told you, they got a large autonomy, some autonomy at the time of Tito. Mm-hmm. And at that time it seemed that Albanians were okay with it. And Milosevic restricted this autonomy as much as he could and took it off finally until the war was on.
So how would you then describe the situation in Kosovo today?
Difficult, very difficult, because people ruling Kosovo are allegedly involved in some human rights problems described in the Dick Marty report for the Council of Europe, as you may know. And because there has been an agreement between Serbia and Kosovo recently about the status of the northern province of Kosovo around Mitrovica. And this is considered by many Albanians in Kosovo as too favorable for Serbian. They do not like it, and they are protesting the more they can to stop that.
And during the fighting, large numbers of Serbs moved to the north of Kosovo for safety, because obviously there's a large majority there. Or they moved to Serbia. Roma people, as you mentioned, were also the target of attacks. The rights of minorities are guaranteed in the constitution, which is written for Kosovo, but are they carried out in practice?
No, of course not. And if you have so many Roma from Kosovo emigrating to Western Europe, mostly to Germany, but some of them come to France also. It's because they are not treated properly, roughly, but Amnesty International doesn't deal with politics, so I'm just talking on my own account, but I've been dealing a little with refugees, and many Roma are considered in Kosovo as having been on the side of the Serbian army at the time of the war. So Albanians are just trying to get some revenge, or just... and they, first of all, they can't find a job because the Albanians will not give them jobs in the very few companies which they may have. So the life for Roma is difficult in Kosovo.
Staying with the issue of human rights, following the end of the war with Serbia, Kosovo was for years denounced over the trafficking of women. Is this still the case?
No, we don't have examples of that, actually. Not really.
Not anymore?
No. The real problem of Kosovo, seen by Amnesty International, is impunity for the crimes under international law which have been committed at the end of the war and even after the war, which ended around June 1999. But from June 1999 to the end of the year 1999 and even beginning of 2000, many people have been abducted, disappeared, allegedly killed, and on both sides, actually. But there are about 400 Serbian families who lost somebody at that time. And the Kosovian Liberation Army is supposed to have taken people to Albania, and nobody has known what happened to them since. The Dick Marty report deals with that quite a lot.
So what initiatives, concrete initiatives, have been put in place to ensure that tolerance between Albanian and Serbian Kosovars is carried out?
Well, the United Nations has decided to create a special court which will be in the Netherlands, from what I understand, because it has been impossible to deal with these crimes, war crimes in Kosovo itself. UNMIK, the United Nations interim mission for Kosovo, and ULEX afterwards, which was a European mission dealing with the police and justice, have not been able to solve the problem. This is why the UN decided to create this special court in the Netherlands, so that the procurator wouldn't have people entering his office with threats, personal threats, if he's going to indict such and such people.
Now, just lastly, not every country actually recognises Kosovo. Obviously, Serbia doesn't, neither does Russia, or funnily enough, Spain. What measures could be put in place to ensure that Kosovo becomes a truly viable state?
Well, this is not a question for Amnesty, really. We deal mostly with human rights, so I couldn't answer your question.
Fair enough. But anyway, a celebration of sorts in Pristina as Kosovo celebrates 8 years of independence from Serbia. Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. Thank you for joining us today. Our special guest, Martine Royo, a Balkans specialist with Amnesty International. That's it for our programs today. I'm Amanda Morrow. You've been listening to Paris Live PM.